Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really to throw you out.
Hey guys, welcome if you're new on the bottom channel. If you're maybe anyway, so today's video is gonna be another rant diaries. I am recording 2 rant diaries today, so just so you guys know, that's why I'm wearing the same everything. Okay, so this one is more severe, more serious and closer to my heart, because I could be a victim of this in the future. You know what I mean? So this rant diaries is going to be talking about the matters of the medical field when it comes to black people, black women, people of color, period. This lady's story was heartbreaking. There was another lady that the same similar thing happened to as well, which I have both ladies on this. They're both gonna be shown in this video. Which will make this video much longer than I wanted to, but it needs to be discussed. It needs to be shown. You guys need to be aware of this matter. So this lady and her mother went to the hospital. I guess she was scheduled to be induced, and she got told to come in when her water broke. Next thing you know, they were acting like they don't know who the hell she is, making things difficult for her and everything. And honestly, when you hear her cries, her screams, the pain and agony, you can hear it in her cries. The pain she's in, you can hear it. And how the nurse is just sitting there doing nothing. I seen this firsthand, not this situation, but the way they dismiss our pain. My mom and I, we were at the ER a couple months ago. Just a little mini story time. She was in pain and she was having discomfort, right? And there was this black girl, this light-skinned girl and her boyfriend, or fiance, I don't really know. I don't remember which one it was, but she was having a miscarriage. In the process of a miscarriage, and if you had a miscarriage before, as I have, you know that shit's painful. Feels like someone is just twisting your stomach and stabbing you at the same time. It's like you can't breathe. It's so painful you can't breathe. You can't think. Anyone's ever had a miscarriage, you know what I'm talking about. And she was in the mix of a miscarriage. They treated her like she was nothing. When I tell you, this hospital, every single white person in that was not even having that much pain, and only that's all the people that were not, anyone that was not white was not put into the emergency. They were left there to be in pain. And then after they got rid of all the white clients, you know, patients, they went after the next race. I think there was like a few Hispanics there and a few Asians. They put those people in. And then we were down to Africans and African Americans. Because this, you know, this girl was in so much pain. When they called my mom said, "Can she go before me?" They said, "No, you're the one next on the list." And my mom held the girl's hand and said, "I'm so sorry that you're in so much pain, and I'll pray for you." And we went inside. Man, you're just having a fucking miscarriage. She's in pain. She could barely walk. And this was here in Syracuse. And me and the boyfriend, we were just talking about how this is so unfair and they should be taking her more seriously. And I started to cry because how she was being treated. He was upset with me. We were just discussing the matter, and it just, I'm not gonna say what hospital it was because I don't want problems. But that was hurtful. And then to see that this lady who's giving birth or about to give birth get treated this way is nothing that anyone should deal with or endure. And to know that Black women die giving birth, not because of complications within the pregnancy or the birth in general, but because of negligence and neglect and ignorance of the hospital staff, is very disheartening. That's why I've always wanted to do home birth if I ever do have kids one day, because at least that way I'm safe and no one is rushing me to, no one's rushing me to get a C-section. Also, they also like try to always like scare us black women into C-section, cesareans, because that's where their money is at. That's where they get the most of their money from, is cesarean. And they think because Black women, they say that because Black women heal faster than other ethnic backgrounds, aka white women, they try to bully us into C-section, when some women take 4 days to give birth to their baby, and that's nature's way. When you read stuff like this, like, I'm really into science, and I wanted to be either a gynecologist or the doctor that delivers babies, right? Growing up, but because I my issue with blood, seeing blood, I couldn't do it. But I always looked into stuff like that because it does pique my interest. And I've been talking for a minute, guys. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna go ahead and let the mother tell you guys what exactly happened, because I need a moment to take a breather.
Hello, TikTok family. This is a follow-up on the video that I posted earlier. So I was at work. I had no idea of the activity that was going on. My daughter's texting me, calling me. I didn't know what was going on. So finally I get home, they tell me about the video, and a lot of you was asking about a follow-up and to explain the situation. So this is the situation. My daughter went into active labor at home. We took her to the hospital. She called ahead of time, so we know they are expecting us. However, we get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle, and one of the nurses come up to the window, and she goes, I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only. I said, well, my daughter is in active labor. And she was like, okay. She said, but you're going to have to go to the front. I'm like, I have to drive to the front. And they said, yeah, you have to drive to the front. Okay, another redhead. And so I'm like, so she's you hear, and it was like, yeah, she started bagging up, hit the button, went back inside the building. So I go around to the front. I get out of the car. Again, this girl is in more pain now than she was when we first left the house. And she started saying, I feel pressure, I feel pressure. I said, take deep breaths. I ran in. I said, hey, my daughter's in the car. I went to emergency. They told me I had to come to the front. So the lady was like, what's your daughter's name? Told her Kiara Jones. She gets out some paperwork, started typing in the name. I was like, ma'am, do you have a wheelchair or anything? She's in the car. I need to get her in. Oh, if you check on the other side of those doors where the vending machine's at, there should be a wheelchair out there. There's no wheelchair out there. So she gets up, she walks in the back, and she come to the door with a wheelchair. She said, here you go, ma'am. I said, excuse me, you're not going to come with me? And she was like, no. Oh, okay. So, a police officer was in the lobby. He gets up. He grabbed a wheelchair. He goes out the door with me. He said, come on, I got you. Went out there. She is on hands and knees in the back of the vehicle. And I'm like, oh shit, what is going on? And then she goes, it's in my ass. And I was like, what? And the guy was like, and she was like, he said, okay, she was like, give me a minute. She could not move. So when that contraction eased, we put her in a wheelchair. He said, you can go park your car, because they, again, had, people out there. So I went park my car. It wasn't even 30 seconds. I run back in the building. She's just there with a stack of papers in her hand, screaming that this baby is coming. This baby is coming. I look at the registers behind the window, and they looking at me, and they was like, well, we can't do anything until she signed the papers. Are you fucking kidding me? So I grabbed the papers, and of course, it's all ER bullshit that they have. And I was like, you want her to sign this, and she's in active labor. And they was like, okay. I was like, ma'am, she was supposed to be induced earlier today at 8 o'clock. And they called and told her that they will call her because they didn't have beds. And they would let her know. And no one ever called back. They called back every hour on an hour. And they was like, no, we'll call you back. And then finally, her water break, she called them. They tell her to come in. So why is she signing these papers? We need her in labor and delivery. And it was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. So the charge nurse comes out. And she saw the paper signed. What fucking, are you serious right now? And she closes the door. And then the lady behind the window, at this point, my daughter, scribbled her name on all the papers. We gave it to her. She says, thank you. She walked it around to the charge nurse. She opened up the door. My daughter is literally like having a contraction. And she's just standing there in the door. So we push her into the door. I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork. I have to do the paperwork and get her a band before we can send her upstairs. So that was the video that you guys saw that I initially posted. So the next video that has no picture on it was when I was pushing her in and we was at the window, because they asked me to move her from the window so they can take care of the guests or, patients that was coming in and out. Do not go to this hospital. This hospital is ghetto as hell. They do not care about black women or their babies. This is crazy. I read about stuff like this all the time, but to see this firsthand, this lady did not care, none of them. It wasn't until we got into labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care or sympathy for her. Before then, they can care less. She did not care if she gave birth in that wheelchair. That was not her problem or her concern.
As you guys heard the story that the mother said her with her own mouth, that shit could have went left. They could have lost the baby. There's always complications with pregnancies and deliveries. Sometimes babies come out breached. Anything could have happened. And the hospital staff chose to ignore any possible things that could happen. And even nurses and doctors from other states were commenting saying that paperwork could be done after the baby's here. That to me is crazy. I hate that she had to endure that. I hate that her own mother had to witness her daughter in such pain and not be able to help her. Because knowing me, I would just drive away. I would drive away to the nearest hospital and went there. That's what I would have done. The moment they said they wouldn't help me with to get the wheelchair, I would be like, you know what, I'm good, thank you. And I would have went somewhere else. Because any ER place will take you in, even if you're not a patient there. But they didn't know that was going to happen. So they knew that the doctor knew, the place knew that they were coming. The place knew they were coming, so they assumed that they were good to go. But little did they know that there was a demonic energy waiting for them. I did hear that the child had some complications after birth due to that issue, but thankfully the mother and child are good. Baby boy is doing good, but that was scary, and I know it had to have been traumatizing for the mother, and I hope it doesn't discourage her from wanting to have more kids, because Black women deserve to have kids if they want kids. We shouldn't be afraid to have babies and become mothers of this world because of ignorance and hateful white people. Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys watch about at least 3 videos of people talking about the matter, their own thoughts on it, and then I'll be right back.
Fuck! When's your due date? Right now! Is your due date 11? What? How many times have you been pregnant? 3! This is your 3rd pregnancy? Yes! You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass!
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
Beverly, this is the first time I have a patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due
I
date is
just
the
said
10th.
it was the 10th.
I think her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
That video brought tears to my eyes, and I'm really not one to like come after people's livelihoods on this app. Like, oh, we need to fire this person, but that nurse needs to be fucking reported and fired and out of there immediately. The lack of empathy that she showed was literally so enraging. I commend them for the fact that they did not mop the fucking hospital floor with her jaw. And this is why I always roll my eyes when y'all are like, oh, not birthing in a hospital has so many risks, it's so dangerous. It's always been dangerous for women of color, especially Black women, to birth in a hospital. They literally have the highest mortality rates in a first world country where we have the technology and the ability to provide them with care. But what we don't fucking give them is empathy and love. When she said that this is her 3rd pregnancy and she has 2 babies at home, my jaw literally dropped, because if you know, you know. Oftentimes with each subsequent pregnancy and birth that you have, it happens so much faster, and it's not your first rodeo, so you know exactly what's happening. So when she's saying she can feel the baby in her ass and the nurse is showing 0 sign of urgency, it's no fucking excuse. Mind you, I literally birthed at a birth center, right? I was not planning a hospital birth, and yet they still sent them, not me. They still sent my information to the nearest hospital way before my due date. in case I got transferred and I wouldn't have to be answering fucking questions in labor. You know why? Because they actually have love and consideration for their fucking job. And they know that no pregnant lady or freshly postpartum mom wants to be sitting there asking fucking questions and filling out paperwork. I'm praying that that mom has a very smooth recovery, but I hope that nurse has a long, hard life.
Pregnant.
This video should piss off anybody that sees it, and then it just falls on what I talk about. If you are not passionate about being in the medical field and taking care of people, then you should not be in the medical field. This nurse lacked empathy, sympathy, everything that she needed to take care of this mother who literally was just about to give birth. The amount of pain that you're in right before you give birth, to those contractions, everything, it feels like your bones are breaking, and she's asking her questions. I have no words. It is truly disgusting, that video, seeing how they, she took care of her, the lack of urgency in the whole situation. And I hope this video gets the attention that it needs, that it deserves, because people like that should not be in the medical field. I'm so tired of it. I dealt with it all the time when I was going through my cancer treatment, and I've watched the lack of urgency with my sister who was having a seizure from the paramedics. It's just disgusting what's going on within our medical field, the way they want to get your insurance, they want to get all your information first, and then I'll take care of you.
I honestly don't understand people who say, oh, I want to be a nurse, oh, I want to be a doctor, but then have this type of negative energy around them. You clearly did it for the money, which is fine, but at least treat people with dignity and respect and kindness. Goddammit, it ain't that hard. For me, I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed being a teacher, but I did not like the tantrums. I did not like the screams. I did not like the parents. Some parents, I didn't like them. But I did love being a part of the new generation's growth, their mindset, teaching them things. I loved that aspect of it. And was it my dream job? No. But did it come in handy when it came to finance and something to do and feel like I'm contributing into the world? Yes. But then again, I worked with pre-K. But if I was working with older kids like I recently was, I would not be mean to the kids, because it's not their fault that I'm in this field. Same with doctors and nurses being rude, shouldn't be rude to their patients. No one told you to have this job. This job requires you being a very empathetic, sincere human being. And yes, there's a lot that comes in with being a nurse and a doctor, because patients passing away. But at the same time, you need to consider the fact that you signed up for this, right? Your job is to give good customer service, just like you would if you were a waitress. If you give bad customer service to your patients, those patients will not come back, which makes your job lose money. The job that pays you. So what's the point in not? I don't understand. And if you're going to be racist, why the hell are you in a field where there's going to be a bunch of other ethnic groups? Especially at a fucking hospital. You know what I mean? But I think a gynecologist or a birth doctor, I don't remember exactly what she was, but she's going to discuss some of the things that she's seen. But we're going to go ahead and watch that real quick, and then I'll be right back. Because we're going to be talking about the next lady that had the same experience after that one.
Fuck! When's your due date?
Whatever you're doing right now, I need you to stop and watch this video.
Fuck! When's your due date?
Right now! So you don't have to be an OBGYN. You don't have to have any medical knowledge to know that this woman is in distress.
Is your due date 11?
For those primal screams, not to invoke an ounce of humanity. Think about that.
What? How many times have you been pregnant?
Seriously, who gives a fuck? A baby's coming.
3! This is your third pregnancy?
Yes!
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass! Third baby, it's in my ass, means she's gonna have a baby on the floor unless she gets that woman to a room now.
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor.
Let's talk about this Dallas video because it's not just bad behavior, it's dangerous, it's discriminatory, and it's why black women in this country keep dying. The young woman's in active labor, and clinically we all know that priorities shift. Intake stops, and your eyes should be on that mom and the baby. But instead, we're watching a nurse sit there asking frivolous questions while a black woman is clearly in distress, progressing, and not treated with the urgency and dignity that she deserves. It's not just rude, it's dangerous. It's egregious, and it's actually disgusting medical care. And I need y'all to understand something, that as a black OBGYN, this is not an isolated incident. This is a culture. And this is what happens when a healthcare system that is not designed for anyone outside the majority, this is how it affects and shapes the legacy and how black women are treated in real time. This is our maternal mortality numbers. This is how black women end up ignored, undiagnosed, untreated, and unprotected. It's a bias, it's systematic, and it's behavior like this that gets passed down, normalized, excused. This is a culture problem in Dallas, Texas probably as a whole. And a culture doesn't change with a press release. It changes with accountability, retraining, leadership, consequences, and a refusal to let people like this touch patients. So, in closing, black women deserve urgency, compassion, and clinical excellence. This ain't it. What we saw was unacceptable, and it's time that the healthcare system finally stops pretending that this doesn't happen. You need to do better.
My father lost his mother at 16 years old due to medical malpractice while she was pregnant with a set of twins. She walked into a hospital and never returned home to her children. When I saw the video of this white nurse ignoring the pain of this woman that is clearly in labor, in active labor, I was absolutely disgusted. Not only was that sister's information already in the system because she was due to be induced that day, but this nurse, who people have identified as LaCrista Vaughn, nonchalantly handled this woman during this emergency, to which she literally delivered her son 12 minutes after. And for those who say that this is not about race, it is always about race, especially when it comes to black people and especially when it comes to black women in the medical system. The maternal mortality for black women is 10 times higher than any other demographic in the United States of America. There are still racial biases that assumes that black people can handle a higher threshold of pain to where we are not tended to, nor giving the proper care or medication to mitigate that pain. This book by Harriet A. Washington called Medical Apartheid literally details the history of medical experimentation on Black Americans in the United States. It also talks about how a lot of gynecological practices and advancements were as a result of testing Black women's bodies without medication or anesthesia. For me, it is not enough that LaCrista Vaughn loses her job. But white folks, it is time for y'all to stand up and stand within the gaps, because black folks have been yelling into the void. It is evident that our screams, our cries, our hurt goes unheard. Y'all have the opportunity to actually advocate and stand up against things that are blatantly wrong and racist. Do something.
As you guys saw and heard, it's sad. It's honestly sad. This whole situation is sad. And as she said, it is time for the majority, that our women or empathetic men, to start speaking up, because we've said this for a very long time and you guys aren't hearing us. The person I'm speaking to, I was telling them about this matter and was literally oblivious. It's like in the world of white people, they don't even know this stuff is going on. They're in their own little bubble. They don't even know anything that's happening to the minorities. When I tell you this person looks shocked and confused, and like confused because it's 2025 and he didn't believe that was still happening, or that's even a thing. I was like, oh, to be white, to be oblivious to what's going on in the world. How wonderful would that have been for me? But I love being African, I love being black, and I wouldn't change this for the world. What I'm saying is, how wouldn't it be nice to have that mindset, to think everything's just kumbaya and nothing's wrong with the world? To experience that for a day, wouldn't that be nice? You say no, right? Because you love where you at, period. We gonna make the change happen. But there's another story of this another lady having the same experience at a hospital and then giving birth 8 minutes later in her car, her husband delivering the baby. I'm gonna let you guys watch that, all those clips of that. I think I have like 3 clips of that, and then I'll be right back because this video is already longer than I want it to be. So let's talk about it.
Kicked out of the hospital in active labor for being black, and her husband having to deliver their baby on the side of the road. This happened in Crown Point, Indiana, where Mercedes Wells arrived in clear distress after hours of strong contractions. Staff focused only on her dilation number, decided she wasn't progressing, and discharged her. They did not track her contractions, did not reassess her pain, and did not listen when she said something was wrong. 8 minutes after being forced out, her labor collapsed into crisis. Her husband pulled over their truck as the baby crowned, delivering their child on the roadside while Mercedes screamed through pain that should never have been managed alone. They then drove 30 more minutes to another hospital because the first one refused to treat her. This is not a rare failure. Black women are repeatedly dismissed during pregnancy and birth, and the consequences are often fatal. Labor is not measured by dilation alone. If a woman gives birth within minutes of discharge, her contractions were clearly close and strong. The hospital missed what should have been obvious.
I have seen 2 fucking videos of pregnant black women at a hospital being refused care or being neglected while they are actively in fucking labor. And if the people who are recording these situations weren't there, we would have never fucking known about it. But amongst the black fucking community, and especially black women, we know this shit happens every fucking day. Hence the fucking black women mortality rate when giving birth. And both of these women literally gave birth minutes after these videos had been recorded. Literally. And what's crazy to me is they're clearly in distress. They're clearly experiencing labor pains. Because if the shit was just easy peasy lemon squeezy like a goddamn menstrual cramp, they wouldn't be at the fucking hospital. But not only are they being neglected, their life is in danger. That baby life is in danger. They're not hooked up to anybody's machines being monitored. Just ignored while they are actively in fucking labor. And this is the shit that we be fucking talking about. And I understand with the nurse, the La Krista, whatever the fuck her name is, I'm glad that she has been fired. And I'm glad that we have been on her motherfucking ass. But I want everybody to also realize that even if that was a black nurse, we would have been on her motherfucking neck, bitch. We would have been on that ass, calling the board. We want them licenses revoked. We want them license fucking revoked. Because this is what we say, biasness and racism is baked into the fucking system. You literally take classes while you're being a nurse to learn how to deal with every type of person. Every type of person. Man, woman, regardless of the fucking race. Everybody should be treated with the same type of fucking care. But this is the shit that we're met with all the fucking time. And another person had made a video and said, that bitch LaCrista would have been under the fucking jail if she did what she did to a fucking dog giving birth to puppies. And that speaks fucking volumes about being black in fucking America.
The mother of the woman who was being consistently ignored by the white nurse in Texas, she just posted an update that mommy and baby are doing well, and I put the video in my caption. She said that it was clear that the baby was in distress because he actually had a bowel inside of the mother's womb, which is going to require further testing because that can cause problems that he would not have or potentially have had that nurse did what she was supposed to do, which was ensure that the mother got to labor and delivery immediately. I want black folks to also be reminded that we celebrate these billionaires, these black billionaires specifically, but we don't have any hospitals of our own. We don't have any facilities that as a black person that we can walk into and indeed feel safe because we understand that it is for us by us. Every single black billionaire that we know will get a liquor brand, a clothing brand, a perfume, a makeup line, a hair care line. No schools, and I'm not talking about charter schools that they done slap their name on. no chain of grocery stores, no healthcare facilities, pharmacies. Oh, and because Democrat and Republicans in Congress and the Senate are besties, millions of people are going to lose their healthcare, meaning millions of people are going to lose their lives. Because in one of the nations that's considered the wealthiest, folks don't care about the next person until it happens to them or someone they know.
So we saw where the nurse denied care to the pregnant Black patient who was very visibly in labor by asking her very redundant questions in the ER. Y'all knew I was about to do this, right? So Crown Point, Indiana has done their big one, and they did the same damn thing. Another Black pregnant person in the ED, visibly in labor, visibly uncomfortable, sent away. Okay? Sent home. She delivered in the parking lot in her vehicle 10 minutes later. You know how poor of an outcome that could have been for that mom and for that baby? Racial bias is harmful as hell, and I don't know what more it's going to take for y'all to understand that. In both scenarios, what should have been done is an overhead page for a delivery team. Somebody from labor and delivery could have ran down. They have residents. They have on-call OB physicians. They got midwives. Maybe not all hospitals, but somebody there is trained to run their asses exactly where it is that they need to be to provide help. There have been so many times that I'm hands and vagina on site because we are trained to deliver anywhere. It does not take rocket science. But because there are so many racist providers that have this ideology around Black people's perceptions of pain, they write us off. But let's not talk about how nursing as a whole gatekeeps labor and delivery nurses, that how you don't see many of me in labor and delivery, depending on the area that you're at. We're in a bad place. And it continues to get worse with this administration. I'm over it.
Girl, I'm over it too. I'm over all this shit. But I'm just recording this video to make awareness, guys. I need to make it for awareness of what's going on. I want you guys, everyone, to know, like, this is not acceptable. You shouldn't be treated this way. And I think that one lady is right, that we definitely should open up our own hospitals, our own schools, so that we're safe from such a behavior. And you know, and I also did realize, like, I should stop saying I have a high pain tolerance because of my skin tone, because I do have a high pain tolerance. For someone else's 10 will be a 7 for me, but I don't want to announce that anymore, because I feel like that's probably why doctors don't take my pain seriously, because they think I'm not in actual pain. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys watch the original clip of the second girl's situation, and I'm gonna end the video there, because this video is already like 40-something minutes long and I have to bring it down. So, but yeah, you guys, please be considerate. And if you do go into the health field as a Black woman, Black man, please look out for our Black brothers and sisters, because this is a sick world out there. And then if you are a person that's not of color and you also want to contribute, and you're a nurse or a doctor out there, please look out for these people, because there's people out there who would rather see us die than see us flourish. That is all for this video. I'm gonna leave it at that. I have to go to work in like an hour, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because I don't know what else I can say, but the fact that I'm irritated. I'm really irritated, you know. But yeah, you guys go ahead and subscribe to my channel. We're almost there. All right, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
My daughter is being kicked out of this hospital and she's in active labor.
Let's see what kind of we have.
Is this your card? No. Oh, sorry. I thought this was your card.
Feel my stuff. Feel how hard this is. She's talking about my uterus.
My daughter's in active labor, and this is a Franciscan Crown Point being put out in active labor. So we gotta transfer her to a different hospital while she's in labor, in pain. Unjust.
Okay.
You want me to push this out? No.
High volume. Am I really that much?